As consumers, we all want the best product money can buy, especially during the holidays. But there are times companies race to get products on the shelves, and they may take cuts and shortcuts, I can't speak, in the process. There we go. Or they may outsource to companies other than countries that don't have the same quality standards that we have here in the U.S. That's why Sylvia Castaneda is here with some insight on what you need to know heading into the holidays.
So what if you are injured by a defective product? I am so happy to have Nathan Maurer, who is a personal injury attorney with the Higgins Firm. Thanks so much for being here to enlighten us about this subject.
Great to be here. Thanks for having us.
So talk to us about defective products. What qualifies a product being defective?
Sure. So defective product is kind of a legal term, but a product is defective if by reason of how it is designed or manufactured or sold or packaged, it's unreasonably dangerous to a consumer who buys it. Some really obvious examples that people have heard about in the news recently are the Takata airbags and the Exactech knee implants. The Takata airbags were recalled. We're talking tens of millions of airbags that were recalled because in some cases they have unexpectedly exploded, causing severe injury or death. The Exactech knee implants have been proven to prematurely fail, which sometimes requires patients to get a second unnecessary surgery. Those are some big examples. There's a lot of more common examples like foreign objects in food. A bolt or a screw in a package of blueberries would be a good example. Contaminated food that's contaminated with salmonella could be an example. I've seen exploding vape pens or products with toxic chemicals in them. A product can also be dangerous if the manufacturer fails to provide an adequate warning of a hidden danger, such as a children's toy that has a choking hazard that's not obvious to the parent who buys it. The reality is, while most products are safe, some are unreasonably dangerous, and those can and do cause real harm.
So Nathan, how often do you see these types of cases? Are they more common than we think?
They are more common than people realize, and unfortunately, a lot of times they sort of fall through the cracks because consumers don't realize they even have a claim, and if they do, they don't act quickly enough.
What about consumers who are maybe concerned, oh, maybe I wasn't hurt that badly, why am I going to make a fuss, I can deal with this? Why should they maybe move forward with investigating, do I actually have a case?
Those are difficult questions for a consumer to answer, and we would advise anyone who has been injured in any way by a product, if they think they might have a claim, to contact us right away and let us help advise them on whether that is, the product is actually defective and whether that's a compensable injury.
So if they feel this product is defective, how should they preserve the evidence to then have you all evaluate it? What's the next step?
That's a good point. Evidence preservation is pretty much the most important thing in a product's claim. If they can get pictures of the packaging, of the product itself, of any injuries that were caused, that can be critically important in proving later on in court that the product itself was defective and did cause the injuries.
So then if people do feel they've been injured by a defective product, how soon should they contact your firm and why? As
soon as possible, because really every minute a consumer waits to act on a product's liability claim can make it harder to bring. So we would advise them to call us right away.
Plus, if they're the first one who is seeing a problem, that may be the catalyst for the company then to possibly change their pattern and help folks not get injured on down the line?
Exactly, and that's what you're seeing with some of these big recalls, is that these instances happened, they got reported, lawsuits were filed in some cases, and then recall follows.
Thank you so much, Nathan, for educating us on this very important subject today. So greatly appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Back to you.
Well, if you have questions about product liability, contact the Higgins Firm at thehigginsfirm.com.